John had always lived a busy life, rushing between work meetings and endless errands. But one morning, he woke up with a strong desire for something different, a day of peace, away from the noise and chaos. As he brewed his morning coffee, he decided to visit the park near his home. The park was known for its lush greenery, colorful flowers, and calm atmosphere. John hadn't been there in years, but he remembered how peaceful it used to be. With a smile, he packed a book, a small water bottle, and his favorite hat, ready to embrace a quiet day. The sun shone brightly as John walked out the door, the light morning breeze brushing against his face. Today will be different, he thought. Little did he know, this simple visit would turn into a heartwarming and unforgettable experience. John arrived at the park just as the morning sun cast its golden glow over the landscape. The entrance, framed by towering oak trees, felt like a gateway to a different world. As he stepped inside, the soft crunch of gravel beneath his shoes added to the sense of serenity. The air smelled fresh, carrying hints of blooming flowers and freshly cut grass. Around him, the park was alive but not overwhelming, a perfect blend of calmness and life. A group of children played near the swings, their laughter blending harmoniously with the rustling leaves and distant chirping of birds. John's eyes were drawn to a nearby pond, its surface shimmering like glass under the sunlight. Ducks paddled lazily, leaving small ripples in the water. The sight brought a smile to his face as he strolled towards a shaded bench under a willow tree. Sitting down, John closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the gentle warmth of the sun on his skin. The park seemed to welcome him, its natural beauty reminding him how long it had been since he had taken time to simply enjoy the world around him. Opening his bag, he took out his book and started reading, but his attention often wandered. The vibrant roses, the fluttering butterflies, and the peaceful sounds of nature kept pulling him back to the moment. Each breath felt lighter, as if the park itself was washing away his stress. For the first time in months, John felt truly present. The worries of his daily life seemed distant, replaced by a deep sense of calm. He couldn't help but wonder why he had stayed away from such a beautiful place for so long. As the hours passed, the park grew livelier, yet its peaceful aura remained intact. John decided to take a slow walk along the winding path that circled the park. The gravel crunched beneath his feet as he marveled at the little details he often overlooked in his busy life. He stopped near a flower bed bursting with vibrant colors, reds, yellows, and purples that painted a stunning picture against the green backdrop. A butterfly with delicate wings flitted gracefully from flower to flower, its movements so gentle that John felt mesmerized. How simple, yet so beautiful, he thought, feeling an unusual appreciation for nature's wonders. Continuing his walk, John came across a group of squirrels darting between the trees, their tiny paws clutching acorns. One particularly bold squirrel stood on its hind legs, watching him curiously before scampering away. John chuckled, his heart light with joy. Eventually, he reached a small wooden bridge overlooking a stream. The water sparkled under the sun, flowing with a rhythm that seemed to echo peace. Leaning on the bridge's railing, John let his mind wander. The gentle gurgling of the stream and the distant sound of birds created a melody that soothed his soul. After a while, John returned to his bench, now shaded further by the afternoon sun. He sat down and took out the sandwich he had packed. As he ate, he noticed an elderly man seated on a nearby bench. The man seemed content, his eyes fixed on the horizon. Feeling a spark of curiosity, John waved and struck up a conversation. The man introduced himself as Mr. Harris, a retired teacher who visited the park every day. Their conversation was light yet meaningful, filled with shared reflections on life and the small joys it offered. As John and Mr. Harris continued their conversation, the gentle rhythm of the park seemed to mirror the ease of their dialogue. Mr. Harris shared stories about his life, from his years as a teacher to the wisdom he had gained in his quiet moments spent in the park. "You know, John," Mr. Harris began with a thoughtful smile, "life has a way of becoming so loud that we forget to listen to ourselves. That's why I come here every day, to sit, observe, and remember what truly matters." John nodded, feeling a deep connection to the elderly man's words. He shared his own struggles, how his busy life had left him drained and longing for something more meaningful. Mr. Harris listened intently, his calm demeanor making John feel heard in a way he hadn't in a long time. At one point, Mr. Harris gestured toward the pond where a family of ducks was gliding gracefully across the water. "Do you see them?" he asked. "They move so effortlessly, but underneath, they're paddling constantly. That's life, balance. On the surface, it may seem calm, but it's the effort below that keeps us moving forward." John found himself reflecting on this simple yet profound analogy. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the park, the conversation turned to lighter topics, favorite books, childhood memories, and even shared laughter about the cheeky squirrels that had earlier entertained John. Before leaving, Mr. Harris placed a reassuring hand on John's shoulder. "Remember, life is a series of small moments. Appreciate them, and you'll find peace in even the busiest of days." As Mr. Harris walked away, John felt a renewed sense of clarity. The encounter had been brief but transformative, leaving him with a lesson he wouldn't soon forget. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the park in shades of orange and gold, John remained seated on the bench, lost in thought. The world around him seemed to slow down, giving him time to reflect on the day. The words of Mr. Harris echoed in his mind, "Life is a series of small moments. Appreciate them." For years, John had been caught in the endless pursuit of success, overlooking the simple joys that life had to offer. Yet today, the rustling leaves, the chirping birds, and the shimmering pond had reminded him of something he had forgotten, the beauty of the present moment. He looked around one last time, taking in the park's serene beauty. The children who had been playing earlier were now packing up their toys, their cheerful laughter fading as they left with their families. The ducks on the pond seemed to settle in for the evening, their graceful movements slowing. The once busy paths now lay quiet, bathed in the soft glow of twilight. John stood up, feeling lighter than he had in months. As he walked toward the park's exit, he noticed a small plaque near the entrance he hadn't seen before. It read, "In every walk with nature, one receives far more than he seeks." The words resonated deeply with him. He smiled, realizing how true they were. Today hadn't been just a break from his routine, it had been a reminder to reconnect with the world around him and with himself. Stepping out of the park, John felt a sense of renewal. He made a silent promise to return often, not just to the park, but to this state of mindfulness and appreciation. The day may have ended, but the peace he felt would stay with him for a long time to come.